Creating a Dataverse table, a lot of changes has happened, especially when it comes to creating a Dataverse table from Copilot. Like before, when you use Copilot, if you're already used to using Copilot to create a Dataverse table, when you use Copilot, you create your table and then you make any changes that you want to make, and then you directly go ahead and create a Canvas application. But right now, all those changes, like there are a lot of changes that has happened. Right now, you can create, after creating your new table, you can create a relationship between your table and an already existing table. You can even add another new table to the table that you have created. And now we have Plan Designer, like, which is so amazing. It's still growing, but at the point it is right now, you can use it to do a lot of things. So I'm going to be walking you through that in case if you have not heard about it before. This feature is being used directly from your Copilot, okay, in Power Apps. I'm also going to be showing you how to create a Dataverse table an from an Excel file that you imported. I'm going to be showing you how to create a Dataverse table from a SharePoint list. And I think a lot of people have, because of the changes that has been, like the so many changes that has been made in Microsoft Dataverse table, they have a misunderstanding of how to create a Dataverse table using the normal traditional method, at least the normal method that we were using before. I don't know how to put it right now, but the one where you just click on create table, you give your table a name, a primary column, you get the opportunity to select the type of table, you get the opportunity to select the type of table that you want. So a lot of people they are confused about how this works right now. So I'm going to be showing you how to do that. My name is Rachel Irabo. I'm a Microsoft MVP, a Power Platform, and a Dynamics 365 CRM developer. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and if you have any questions, you can leave it in the comment section. This video is going to be divided into parts. So if there's a particular session that you want to watch in this video, you can go directly to that session. So let's go ahead to the video. Okay, so right now I'm currently on make.powerapps.com and I'm signed into my account. And if you notice something from the interface here, this has changed a bit. Before, what we have here was Copilot, like Copilot to directly create your Dataverse table. But now what we have now is the Plan Designer. Okay, so let's make a plan. This feature uses generative AI, and from this particular Plan Designer, you get to describe your problem, and this creates your business requirements, your it creates users for you, and also it creates the table, and at the end of everything you can create a solution. So we are not really looking at Plan Designer, but if you want me to create a video on this, let me know in the comment section and I will create a video on introduction to Plan Designer in Power Apps. But right now, through this process we can use it to create a Dataverse table. Okay, so if you come to this place, let's use this particular prompt we have here, where it says my employee needs a solution for tracking projects across the company. Or we also have the prompts, I need my staff to check out equipment and be notified of due date. So let's use this instead. So I'm going to click on this, then I'm going to click on this particular icon here. I can also include the preview features, and let's click on it. So if you notice from the right side of our screen, we have my name, Rachel Irabo, because I'm currently here. We have the requirement agent, the process agent, the data agent, and the solution agent. So all of these are just agents that works in this solution. And the first agent that works here is the requirement agent. So this works on your business problem, okay, and generates a user's requirement. And the last one is just your data agent that creates your data module, which is your Dataverse tables, and creates different relationships between your Dataverse table. And at the end of it, you get to create a complete solution from it. So you can see from that particular prompt, we have, I need my staff to check out equipment and be notified of the due date. So this is a business problem. From this particular prompt, the requirement agent has been able to create a purpose of the plan, has been able to create users requirements and create different roles for the requirements. Okay, so you can see this. You can even edit it if you want to. You can add other users. You can add other users role to this, and you can also make changes to these answers that has been given to you. So now I'm just going to click on looks good for requirement agent, and the part I want to show you is just this data model. So it creates a Dataverse table for you. Like you see now, it has created different Dataverse table concerning this business requirements, which is Dataverse table on equipment, checkout, extension request, staff, and notification. And one other thing to see here is that it created relationships between this table. And if you're already familiar with creating tables using Copilot, you can notice that this is the same interface for creating a Dataverse table with Copilot. And you can see that now it's possible to create relationships between tables using this interface, and also add existing tables and create relationships between those tables. So right now we are not looking at this. So we are going to go back. Okay. So this is how you can create your Dataverse table using a plan designer. Okay. So that is that. Then when you go to your make.power apps, then you go to tables at the left side of your screen. You can see that we have different options. We have an option to start with a blank table. We have an option to create with Excel or a CSV file. And we also have the option to create a Dataverse table using a SharePoint list. Okay, now, so we are going to click on start with a blank table. And when we click on start with a blank table, this gives us the interface to create your Dataverse table using Copilot. And this particular interface confuses a lot of people because they think that, okay, I want to create a Dataverse table. Why am I getting this interface to create my Dataverse table? So this is quite easy to use, and you can do this you can see when we clicked on create blank table, it immediately created this table for us, which is table 1. So if you want to use this table, you can give this table a name. So we can just give this table, let's say for instance, buses. Okay, and we can also use prompts. Like we have our Copilot chat at the right side of our screen. We can use prompts to create our table. Okay, so let's say create a country table. So this is the prompt I'm using with Copilot. Okay, so now you can see that with that prompt I gave to Copilot, it has created a country table, and it also went ahead to create a table for city. So you can see a country table and a city table have been created. And it also went ahead to also create a relationship between those two tables. If we click on the 3 dots in country and click on view data, you can see that it populated this table. You can see it added country name column and also population to the table. So now if you want to add columns here, you can easily click on new column and add your column. Okay, and also the same thing for city. So if you want to check your city, you just have to click on view data. If there's a particular column that you don't want to be there, you can manually delete it, or you can ask your Copilot chats, like you can ask your Copilot to delete that table. And right now, if we say we want to create a relationship between buses and city, so this was not possible before, but right now it is possible. You can just click on create relationship, select the table, city, then select the boss table. Okay, then you give your table, let's say boss ID. So you can give the relationship name, then click on done. That would automatically create a relationship between those tables. So, and one thing to notice is that for this particular relationship, we created a one-to-many relationship. So we can also change it to a many-to-one relationship. So it can be a many-to-one relationship, it can be a one-to-many relationship. So it depends on what you want to do. And you can also add an existing table. You can add an already existing table into this solution, which was not possible before. So if I say I want to add a purchase table that already exists, I can just look for it, add it, and then click on add selected. And that table automatically comes to this place. So this is how this works right now. This is how the process of creating your Dataverse table. This is how the process of creating your Dataverse table through Copilot chat works right now. And at the left side of your screen, you can see where we have new table. So from this new table, you either describe your new table using Copilot, or you add columns and data. So if you click on add columns and data, this will automatically create a new table. So you can see we have our table, it names it table 5, and now it's asking us to name the table and add columns to that table. Okay, and you can see we also have the options to start with external data with either from an Excel file or either from a SharePoint list. And if you want to delete any table that has been created, you just have to click on the three dots of that table, then click on remove. Then now, if I want to save these tables that has been created, I just have to click save and exit. Okay, now we can see that our table has been created. We can see the city table, we can see the buses table, and we can also see the country table. Then another thing to also notice is that, like, the usual way of creating Dataverse table, like at least when I started working with Microsoft Dataverse, the usual way of creating the Dataverse table is that you click on create table, and then you get the opportunity to click on the type of Dataverse table you want. You make a lot of changes to that table. So if you want to do that right now, you just have to log into your make.powerapps.com, go directly to tables, and at this drop down, click on new table, and then click on table advanced properties. So this will give you an interface to create your Dataverse table the way you are actually used to. So now you can give your table a name, you can change the primary column, you can also select the type of table you want, whether a standard table, an activity table, or an elastic table. You can also make changes to the properties of the table. Okay, so this is the way to create your table, and then you can click on save after you create your table, and then go ahead and add columns to the table. Then the last point I want to show is that create with Excel or a CSV file. So this is the point where you get to create your table, importing an Excel file or a CSV file into Dataverse. Like, you get to create your table from scratch. So right now I just have to click on it, then click on select from device. Okay, so I'm going to be clicking on all opportunities. So this is a data that I got from Dynamics 365, a sample data I got from Dynamics 365. So now I'm going to click on open. Okay, now you see that our data, now we have our data here. And if I want to make changes to this data, I have to click on the three dots here, click on view data. If I click on view data, I can see the different data here. Okay, I can see where we have this icon toggled, that first row will be our headers. Okay, so I'm just going to enable that back. And one important part that you need to really do is that when you import your Excel file or your CSV file to create a Dataverse table, we need to make sure that the columns, you need to go and check each of the columns to make sure that they are the right data types. Like now for this topic column, I just have to click on edit. It's the right column, which is single line of text. That is fine. The same thing for potential customer, email address, status is a choice column, actual close date is a date column. So they are all fine. Okay. So if we also scroll to the right hand side, we can see that probability is a whole number column. That is fine. So you just need to make sure that you check the data types to see if they are the right data types. And you can see it also moved the data in the rows into Dataverse. So apart from even moving the columns, also the data in the Excel file is also uploaded. And if there's a column here that I do not want, like I don't want this particular column, I just have to click on the drop down of that column, then click on delete column. Okay, I'm going to go back here, click on the three dots, and then click on view data. I'm going to do the same thing for this one, delete column. So for instance, this last column here that we have, do not modify opportunity, if I click on it, you can see I don't have opportunity to delete the column. And the reason why is because this table is using that column as a primary column. So if I click on properties, you can see it's using it as a primary column. So I just have to remove it and select another column in order to be able to delete it. So I can click on these three dots now, click on view data, and I have access to delete that column. Okay, and one last thing to notice is that when I click on these three dots, if I go to properties, I have access to change the table name. So I can change it from sales record opportunity to opportunity record. Then I can click on the advanced option where I can change the schema name if I want to. Okay, so I'm going to go back and click on save. And we can also notice that we have row ownership. Okay, so if you want to change the row ownership from row owned by a user or team to row owned by organization, you can also do that particular changes. So now I'm going to save and exit. And don't forget, you can also add an existing table and create relationships between tables for this also. Okay, so if you want to create a relationship between this table and an already existing table in Dataverse, you can do that by just clicking on existing tables and then create a relationship between those tables. So now the last thing that we want to look at is creating a Dataverse table with a SharePoint list. So I'm just going to click on create with SharePoint list. Okay, so when we click on create with SharePoint list, it's going to show the same Copilot interface, like the Copilot creating a Dataverse table Copilot interface, but it's going to bring out a Windows for import a SharePoint list. So you can either use the URL for that SharePoint, or you can directly select the site and then select the SharePoint list you are looking for. So I'm looking for, right now, I'm looking for review. Okay, let's change that. I'm looking for Power Platform Canva. So after selecting Power Platform Canva, okay, so right now I'm looking for learning. I'm going to click on learning, then click on all opportunities, and now click on import. So let's wait and see how it works. So we are creating a Dataverse table using a SharePoint list. So you can see now our Dataverse table has been created using a SharePoint list. And if we want to make changes to it, we can also make changes by just clicking on the three dots, going to view data, and then we can delete any columns that we do not want. Okay, we can just delete the columns. And do not forget, immediately you import your data, try to go through each and every one of the columns to make sure that they are actually the right data type. They were imported with the right data types. If they were not, just change the data type to the data type that you want it to be. Okay, so that is how this works. If there's a particular column you want to delete, you can delete the column. And if you want to create a relationship between this table and an already existing table, you just have to click on existing table, go to all tables. Okay, go to all tables and look for the particular table that you want to create the relationship with. Let's say, for instance, I want to create a relationship with a purchase table. I'm just going to click on the table, then click on add selected. After clicking on add selected, I'm going to click on create relationship. From create relationship, I can select the type of relationship I want, whether it's a many to one relationship or a one to many relationship. And then I get the opportunity to select the tables. Okay, so let's say it's a many to one relationship. So you can see I have the all opportunities and the purchase table. Now I get to give my table a lookup name and also the schema name. I also get to give it a relationship name, then click on done. Then I can go ahead and save and exit my app or make any other changes I want to make to this particular Dataverse tables. Okay, so that is how this works. And if you don't want to do it manually, you can just use your Copilot chat and use a prompt to ask what you want your table to do. Like maybe a prompt like create a relationship between all opportunities table and purchase table. Create a many to one relationship between purchase table and all opportunities table. So thank you so much and hoping to see you in my next video. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave it in the comment section.